This is Debbie Atkinson, and I'm here today at Lunch Papers with Paul Thomas and Chris DeBar, who are the new managers of this room. This is a studio room which many bands have played in the past, and different play groups have come down here, including the Atlanta Acme Theater and others. What do you plan to do with this room?
Well, there's a lot of ideas circulating. We want to make it a theater, a magic theater, a changeable theater where many different occurrences happen. We've got a theater season kind of evolving, plays by Bertolt Brecht, Edward Albee, and local playwrights, and we'll be performing those plays throughout the year. We'll have acoustic music. We hope to have some posters.
We're going to have lots of posters, light shows. The idea for the Magic Theater came from Hermann Hesse's book Steppenwolf. Yeah. The segment with the Magic Theater. It was the inspiration.
For madmen only!
Right.
But, yeah, it's just a creative place where you're called on for your resources.
Okay, and Paul, you're in charge of booking bands.
Booking bands and music, and we're going to do light shows here, too.
Okay. What area does a fashion show fall in? You're having a fashion show this weekend.
Some other people are taking care of that. We're just opening it up for them.
The fashion show is more of our open invitation to people. It's not that Paul and I have to be involved in everything that goes on under here. We want other artists to consider this their home as well. It's the only really alternative creative space in town that I know of, and we want other artists to feel that it's their home.
What? Any money we make out of it goes back into the business, back into this, for lighting or costumes or props, whatever.
Okay. How long have you had Lunch Papers?
We've had it not very long, since July.
Okay. Can you tell us some of the things that you've done?
So far we had a July 4th party with band Lamb Putty. That was our funeral. We figured if we had a funeral the first day, maybe we'd be blessed with a long life. Then we've had the Tasty World debut, Soiree, was here. That was on a
Buzz of Delight.
Buzz of Delight and theater and dance. And we've had some other bands, Club Gaga and the Frigidaires. And
Better Homes. They played too.
Have you been taking cover charges or what? How have you been working this out?
We asked for donations because we don't have a business license precisely yet. I'm not sure that the room is sound enough for a business license yet. We don't have a bathroom, for instance. But we asked for donations for the lights, and the artists pay rent. We have some artists who pay the rent, and then we want to make improvements.
Okay, so this is pretty much just a studio space that you're opening to different people that want to use it.
That's a real true interpretation. We want, though, to open it completely to new experiences. We want to have, say if we're going to have a rock and roll band, we want to have poetry or a small theater sketch before the bands. We want to have acoustic music, like hopefully we can get a string quartet or a flamenco guitarist, people who can't play in the regular nightclubs, but who are artists and who deserve to communicate with an audience that would appreciate them. We want to open up our studio for those purposes.
Okay. You're both in your early 20s, and this is kind of a 60s-ish idea. Do you consider yourself retrograde, or how do you see that you fit into the scheme of things?
As far as the 60s go, everyone obviously was shaken up by that decade of creative growth, but there was a lot of hypocrisy underneath that at times. What we're trying to do is not settle for a nostalgia or for some kind of cool image that the 60s had. We're more interested in presenting a modern theater to an audience that has no other recourse to that. A modern theater with all the doldrums, the storms, and the messages that are part of our modern life. We want to make it from ourselves to our audience very direct.
Okay.
The name came from Steve Yates, and we heard it from Ort, so Ort had originally claimed credit for it. But it goes back to when we were little kids in Catholic school, bringing our paper bag lunches to school. It's kind of a bring your own place, bring your own ideas, bring your own food or whatever.
Bring your own heart.
You've had a lot of experience organizing before you. Hi, this is Debbie, and I'm standing in front of Lunch Papers with Jill Fox, Jill Carnes, and Meg Fox, and they're having a fashion show this Sunday at 3 o'clock. They're asking 25 cents or a quart or donation if you can afford it. What kind of fashion show is this, girls?
Well, Jill and I were playing around one day with a bunch of clothes that we had, and we started making a fashion show for our friends. And it was like clothes that we probably would wear anyway. It's like spontaneous fashion, you know. And we want to encourage people to wear things that aren't necessarily clothes, something that they like. We have a model who has a bedspread that she's really fond of, and so we're working on an outfit out of that so that she can wear it. And we have some evening gowns out of drapes. This is pantyhose.
Are most of your clothes evening wear in this show?
Well, no, it's kind of mixed up. You can wear some of it in the daytime too.
Okay. And Jill, you made these hats, right?
Uh-huh.
Can you tell us about your hats?
Well, this one was made out of a serendipity banana dish boat cup. That's what that is underneath. And they're called thinking caps.
Thinking caps?
Yeah, it's my brand. It's Thinking Cap, Jill's Thinking Caps. And well, they're going to be worn in the show.
Okay, and we'll get to see how those look on some models in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, and the two of you are not planning to be in the show right now? Are you just designing all the clothes?
Right, we had some friends modeling for us because nothing is really sewn together. It's all tied and safety pinned and stuff. And so we thought it'd be too confusing if we were modeling also because we have to put things together.
Help people dress?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Where do you get your clothes?
Well, we make them all. We get materials like from old dresses or just pieces of cloth that we found somewhere that we like and just kind of put it together.
Okay, and what's the purpose of the show? Are you selling your clothes, or?
No, we're not selling our clothes. They weren't made for that. They were just made to show people what we like and to help people think. They can get other ideas.
And help people kind of come out of the closet with their fashion, that it's okay to wear something different. It's okay to be ridiculous once in a while.
Good. That makes it all more fun. And plan on not having an MC for the show, right? Nobody's going to be out there describing, you know, this is Judy in such and such a dress. What are you going to do instead?
We have some friends that are collaborating on a tape. We're making some music, and we're going to have our models dancing and stuff.
What's the reason for that?
Well, because when we did our first fashion show, like our pretend one, we were mocking MCs at fashion shows, like, this is Betsy showing us the latest in dramatic evening wear. It just seems so really ridiculous that everything kind of speaks for itself.
Okay, so to let people kind of think.
From Atlanta, and clothes in Atlanta are a lot more hardcore. People are more into leather and mohawk.
Mr. Barr, tell us about the legacy of Stitchcraft.
Stitchcraft Place begins around the 1900s. It starts off, I think it was built for a textile factory. In fact, lunch paper is now occupying the boiler room of the old factory. Two big horsepower boilers manufactured the steam that ran the whole textiles factory. All this row on Broad Street was a textiles factory. And as time went on through the 1930s and the 40s, Mr. Schindel bought it at some time and kept it as a clothes manufacturing place. He was also renting out the back area to artists. Sooner or later, rock bands began to want to rehearse, and they began to take the extra studio space as the textile industry began to collapse a little bit. There's more room in this big factory built during the 1890s, and so rock bands came in, began to practice and rehearse, and that grew, and
Well, this has been a rehearsal space for a lot of people, right, over the years. And it's been used as parties and for open rehearsals that were turned into parties, right?
Parties and also performances of a oblique nature. Light shows. This is probably the only place in Athens where you could see a psychedelic light show. It's probably one of the few places that you could see avant-garde theater in town on a somewhat reoccurring basis.
That was with the Rat and Duck Theater.
With the Rat and Duck and the theater groups that they brought to Atlanta, such as Nexus Theater, Acme Theater, the New York Street Theater Caravan, many different performance artists, Charles Dennis, Allen Ginsberg.
And some of the more famous Athens pop bands played here.
Yeah, REM and Pylon may have played here. Love Tractor has been here. Lots of bands currently have space, from the Elme Dukes to D Building, Double Entente, and many more.
Well, let's talk about lunch paper. When did Stitchcraft back boiler room become lunch paper? And how did it happen?
Our Independence Day was July 4th, 1984, the year of Big Brother. We happened to take it from the Rat and Duck, who were breaking up, moving on, different people pursuing different plans. And we decided we'd try to keep the energy as a theater going, and maybe even to improve it. The very first thing that we wanted to do, since we were a no alcohol place, was to have electric Sundays. We thought that Sunday there's not much going on, no one can really get drunk, and that's cool because we can have fun. The first electric Sunday that we had was a fashion show, the 5-box fashion show by Jill Carnes and Meg Wilson. And we had 5 models, and it cost $0.25 to get in. We had orange juice and grapes and all kinds of sumptuous things at 3 in the afternoon, and we had a fashion show that was really pretty wild. A lot of flowing clothes, and everything was homemade or picked up or found, and it was really a lively, fun show. And we had interesting avant-garde performances here. And sometimes they got real popular, like the Replacements. When they played here in late September, we had probably 250 people show up, enjoy themselves, have a really rocking time.
What happened to lunch paper?
Well, eventually we began to have too much of a rocking time, and the police noticed us and didn't notice that we had a business license. Of course, we weren't making any money. We were